All right, so we're going to talk about arithmetic and geometric sequences. So an arithmetic, sorry about that, sequence is a sequence in which each term after the first differs from the preceding term by a constant term. And the general term of an arithmetic sequence is the nth term, or the general term of an arithmetic sequence, with the first term a sub 1 and the common difference is a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. So we are going to go look at some arithmetic sequences. So our formula, remember, is going to be a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. Now to find the d will be equal to a sub 2 minus a sub 1. So if we're just looking at the function and we're not told what d is, then we'll find that d by doing that. So for example 1, we have negative 5, negative 2, 1, 4, and 7. And we want to find the common difference. So that's going to be d is equal to, the difference is going to be the first two terms. So our d in this case will be negative 2 minus negative 5. So you have to make sure you go in the right order. It's the second term minus the first term. So that's going to become a negative 2 plus 5, which will get us 3. And we can check that. So negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 3 would be 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 3 is 7. We could find the next number, right? 7 plus 3 would be 10. And then 10 plus 3 would be 13. 13 plus 3 would be 16. So we could actually continue the sequence once we know what the d is. All right, let's look at another one. Call that part A. Let's look at part B. So 8, 3, negative 2, negative 7, negative 12, and so forth. So again, to find our d, we take the 3 minus the 8, and we get negative 5. So 8 minus 5 is 3. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. Negative 2 minus 5 would be negative 7. Negative 7 minus 5 would be negative 12, and so forth. So you want to make sure you check it to make sure that you can figure out and that everything's going correctly. So let's go use our general formula, and let's look at finding a term. So we'll use this one here. Let's use the formula and let's find the fourth term. We know what it is, but I'm going to show you how the formula works. So using the formula, we want to find the fourth term. If we're finding the fourth term, that means our n is equal to 4. So we'd have a sub 4 is equal to our a sub 1, that's the 8, plus this would be 4 minus 1, because that n is 4, times our d, and our d is negative 5. So that's 8 plus 4 minus 1 is 3 times negative 5. So 3 times negative 5, that's negative 15. 8 minus 15 equals negative 7, and that's exactly what our term is, negative 7 right here. So that's where you can use the formula. Now, we already knew what it was, and these are smaller numbers, but you can actually use it to find larger numbers. All right, so let's go look at another one. So this was example 2. We're going to example 3. So we want to find the next term by finding and creating the formula for the nth term. So if we are given 2, 4, 6, 8, and we aren't given the next ones, we want to actually create a formula. So a sub n equals a sub 1 plus our n minus 1 times d. And we need to know a couple of things. Well, if we're just finding the general term, we don't need to know the n. The a sub 1 is going to be 2. So a sub n equals 2 plus, we'll leave the n. But what about the d? So we've got to come over and find d. Our d is a sub 2 minus a sub 1. So it's going to be 4 minus 2, which is 2. So now we know what our d is. Remember, your a sub 1 part is coming into the number you need at the very beginning. So now we can plug in our d. So they both happen to be 2, which is fine. They can both be 2. Now you could simplify this down. I don't know if they ask you to do it in the homework, so I'm going to show you what you would do just in case. So a sub n would be 2. 2 times n would be 2n. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. So a sub n, well, the 2 and negative 2 would cancel, would actually end up being 2n. Now, if you're doing something for me like on a test, you don't need to simplify it. But in case they ask you to, that's all you're going to do is multiply and combine like terms. So well, what if we want to find, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, let's find the 7th term. Let's say that we want to find n equals to 7. So you could easily plug it into here, or if we didn't do the reducing and we just used our regular formula there. So let's go with the regular formula. So a sub 7 would be 2 plus 7 minus 1 times 2. So that would be 2 plus 7 minus 1 is 6 times 2, which would be 2 plus 6 times 2 is 12. Well, that equals 14. If we use this one, we find that a sub 7 is 2 times 7. Well, that also equals 14. So either one works. But on the test, you're probably not going to reduce it down. You're just going to go with what's there. All right, so let's go look at a word problem on our handout here. So example 5, Company A pays $25,000 yearly with raises of $1,000 per year. Company B pays $30,000 yearly with raises of $300 per year. Which company will pay more in year 10 and how much more? So example 5. For example 5, we are looking at what's going to happen with the money for the company here. And so we've got to figure out what all the parts that we need to know. So they're asking us in, this is arithmetic because that's all we've covered so far. So let's write our formula down first. And we need to find all those parts. We need to know what n is, we need to know what a sub 1 is, and we need to know what the d is in order to do the formula. So they're actually asking us a couple of things. So Company A pays $25,000 yearly with raises of $1,000. So the initial payment would be $25,000. So a sub 1 is going to be $25,000. The yearly raise, that is the increase. That's going to be our D. So D will be 1,000. This is for Company A. And we also got to find Company B. It says Company B pays $30,000. So we still don't know N until we get to the bottom. A sub 1 would be $30,000. And it has raises of $300 per year. So that's our D. Which company will pay more in year 10? Well, year 10 is going to be the N we're looking for, and we want to know how much more. So let's set up our formula. So a sub 10 equals a sub 1 plus our N is 10 minus 1 times our D of 1,000. So that'll get us 25,000. 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 times 1,000, so 25,000 plus 9,000 will end up getting us 34,000. All right, let's go set up this one. So a sub 10 equals 30,000 plus 10 minus 1 times 300. So 30,000 plus 9 times 300. So 30,000 plus 9 times 3 would be 2,700. So that'll get you 32,700. So where this can come in handy is you can look at this and go, well, how many years am I going to work at the company? If I initially start out with 25,000, but I stay for, let's say, 10 years, and it may be more like 9 years, that makes a difference. As I earn in 10 years, I'll be making more money. So if I'm going to stay there about 10 years, then I would make more money from then on. But if I am not going to stay there as long, I'm going to make $30,000 at the beginning of this one. In 10 years, I'll be making less, but you'd have to look at how much have you made so far, because every year you're still making $30,000 here, plus your raises. So, but this gives you an idea of when the real world part would be, can I use this to figure out which job I should take? And you'll have a project coming up where it talks about that. All right, so which job is better? So the company that will pay more will be company A, and by how much? We have to take 3,400 and subtract out, 34,000 and subtract out 32,700, and we will get $1,300. So they're not making that much more, but you are making more in year 10. All right, so let's go look at our next problem. We're going to talk about geometric sequences. So a geometric sequence is a sequence in which each term after the first is obtained by multiplying. So the previous one was arithmetic, so it had arithmetic with addition. This is a geometric sequence, so it's going to have multiplication. And it's going to have a common ratio. So in this case, you'll find the nth term using this formula of a sub n equals a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. And you'll find the common difference by dividing the two numbers instead of subtracting them. So let's go look at geometric. So to find r will be a sub 2 divided by a sub 1. You'll find the ratio. So if we look at example 6, and we are given 3, 9, 27, and so forth, we will find our r will be equal to 9 divided by 3, which is 3. And if we look at it, 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. We can find the next number. 27 times 3 would get us 81. 81 times 3 would get us 243. So we can continue on to doing that. And that's checking our values to make sure that we're getting the right R. So if we look at example 7, for example 7, we are given 2, 4, 8, 16. So if we want to find our R is 4 divided by 2, which is 2. Well, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. So that is the correct ratio. You always want to make sure that your ratio is correct. So on here, let's say we want to find the fifth term. So we want to find n equals to 5. Our formula, once again, is a sub n equal to a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. So it'll be a sub 5 is equal to, a sub 1 is 2. Our ratio is also 2 to the 5 minus 1. Which will be 2 times 2. 5 minus 1 will be 4. Well, 2 to the 4th is 16. And 16 times 2 would be 32. And we can double check this. We had 16. 16 times 2 would get us 32. So it's kind of going in the same process as what we've done before. All right, so let's go do our word problem. So we have a professional football player that signs a contract with a beginning salary of $5 million. Wouldn't it be nice to make $5 million for the first year and an annual increase of 4% per year beginning in the second year? That is beginning in year 2. The athlete's salary will be 1.04. So this is a really key point here. 1.04 times what it was the previous year. What is the athlete's salary for year 5 of the contract? So if it's 4%, which if you change 4% to a decimal, it becomes 0.04, you have to put the 1 in there. If you don't put the 1, it only does the increase. It doesn't do the salary plus the increase. So if you're ever doing the math and it's like, gosh, something's wrong, it's because you're missing the 1. So be careful about that. Make sure you add the 1 in front of the percent. All right, so let's go look at the word problem. So we are looking at our formula of a sub n equals a sub 1r to the n minus 1. And we're told that it's going to be in the 5th year, so n is equal to 5. Our a sub 1 is equal to $5 million. $5 million. I'd love to make $5 million. And our rate is given to us at 4%, which, when you change it to a decimal, will be 0.04, but don't forget the 1, or it will only do the salary. It won't do the rest. All right, so let's find our value. So a sub 5 is equal to $5 million times 1.04 raised to the 5 minus 1. So before I put it in a calculator, I would probably change my decimal or my exponent to the 4, and then I would put it in a calculator. And I would get $5,849,292.80. Now, if they ask me to round to the nearest whole dollar, that 8 will round it up. We'd get $5,849,293. That would be our a sub 5. So in 5 years, he's gained $849,293. So this will be the other part of your project that is coming up this week.